Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Barbie Talks. I am your real and raw Barbie, bringing you everything real and raw. And today we have a very special guest. Before we even introduce the guest, have you ever felt so isolated or like you were alone in your perspective? Like before I met this person, I was just like, dang, I'm kind of crazy for talking about this stuff. It's just gonna be a path where a lot of people are gonna be like, oh, you're being hopeful, you're being wishful, or this doesn't really work, or this only works because XYZ, like, oh, what about this, or what about that? And I kind of low-key started to get just a little bit discouraged, but not discouraged enough where I wanted to stop doing it. But I automatically had this perception that this was going to be a journey I had to do alone, and where, like, no one will understand me until I made it to the big leagues with all the people that are saying these same things, and I'm a world-renowned life coach. I just felt like, okay, just be ready to travel this alone. But this amazing person I had met is so dope. So dope. I am not even going to say no more. We have the host of 129 Podcast on here.
What it do?
Go ahead, introduce yourself. Go ahead. I won't say nothing else.
I ain't gonna lie, man. You just gave me that wonderful speech. I don't even really know what to say, man. But my name is Kevian. Like she said, I am the host of the 129 Podcast, or 129 Forever. Not sure what I really want to call it yet, but right now it's both of them. But yeah, I'm a inspirational person. Before I even really get started, I just want to say it's an honor. I feel the same way about you, man. You so perfect. You're so dope, and you put like really great messages into the world, and a lot of people need to hear that. So thank you for having me.
Of course. So before we even get into this episode, you need to follow him. 129 Forever on TikTok, Instagram, go on Spotify. Of course, everything will be linked. But if you don't follow, I'm going to look at you a little sideways. We support everyone on this channel, and as you guys start to see when I integrate more and more guests, this is not only my platform, I want it to be their platform. I want this to be a space where people can express themselves in a way that they feel resonates with themselves and also will resonate with an audience. So I'm trying to cultivate a space where we are all supporting each other and we all can see each other level up. And, it starts with us. It starts with a small community, following each other, supporting each other. So it don't hurt to do a little follow, y'all. So just hit the follow button, go in the description box and follow him. But I know y'all are probably like, oh, this topic is a good topic. So we're going to dive right into it. I spoke about this topic before, and I kind of touched on it, but I didn't dive really deep into it. And I think you are the perfect person to talk about this topic with. As humans, we naturally kind of reflect our own perspective onto other people, which in result can make us feel super isolated in a negative way, or make us miss opportunities due to us being super closed off and not ready to receive, and then also just thinking, oh, I can't do whatever I want. How are you feeling about that? What are your thoughts? What is your theories?
Man, it's a lot I want to say, but I remember just telling you before we even got in here, like, you just got to be open to new things. And that starts with literally every single thing you do. I feel like specifically a lot of people was raised to, perceive certain things a certain way, if that makes sense. Like me, for example, like when I grew up, like, I'll just be blunt and honest, man. It's a safe space to talk.
It's safe. There's always a safe space.
Okay, man. Like, specifically, like, with content creation and me just being a creator and me being a influencer trying to motivate people to do something with their life. A lot of people really did not see what I was trying to do and where I was trying to go. Meaning that a lot of people around me, specifically like in my circle, people I grew up with or people that I just knew. A lot of people just used to tell me, like, hey, man, like, why do you do this? Like, why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? But, like, the perception of it, I just couldn't let it get to me. I couldn't let it affect me, and I couldn't let it change who I was as a person. And I feel like a lot of people let people's perception of themselves dictate who they are as individuals. So with me, my advice to anybody would just stay true to who you are and do what you want to do, but long as you putting out a good message and you're perceiving things the right way, then that's how you know that you're on the right path.
And I completely agree. And in terms of my story, it was a little different, But in terms of like a bigger community, I kind of had that disengagement, and it felt like I was just speaking to an empty audience, right? It felt like
Facts,
I'm just posting a post, I'm just talking to talk, and then I
Right.
would meet people and they're like, oh my God, I see you trying to do influencing, or like, how's your little this? And it's like, no, it's not anything little. But as I said many times in this podcast, I want you guys to understand when you shift your perception of yourself, that's when things truly change.
That's when everything
because both of us, I'm going to speak on your behalf just for a bit.
you good. Go ahead.
I'm
Do
right.
your thing.
We were in a space where we weren't 1,000% confident in ourselves. We knew what it was, but we didn't know what it was, right? So when we eventually shifted our mind, now even just us knowing each other, before we wouldn't even have known that with our prior perception of ourselves that was then being reflected onto other people and the people surrounded by us. But since we shift our perception and now we're believing in ourselves, understanding our path, and just unconditionally living in our own message and how we feel like our life should go, we started to see a shift. So also a quick sidebar, this is the point of me bringing guests on this podcast, because I don't want everyone to think this is just best case scenario. No, like everyone reaches their path differently and everyone sees things at a different angle.
For sure.
Like he had it in his very immediate circle, but on the contrary with me, I had the support in my immediate, but it was the outside that was really discouraging.
Yeah,
so
facts.
It's also great for everyone to hear how different people navigate that. So how do you feel like you navigated through that besides just pushing through?
Besides pushing through, besides pushing through, I don't really know. Like,
Do you feel like it was kind of just always that energy of like, this is really what I'm supposed to do, and you kind of just never lost sight of that?
Yeah, 1,000%. Like, I remember saying this on a different podcast a couple days ago. Like, I always knew I was like this. And sometimes, like, when you really go on places and you really believe that you can go places, a lot of people like to make you feel like you're nothing. And a lot of people try to make you feel like you're not going places. But like me, ever since I was a kid and as long as I can remember, I always felt like I was meant for more. I always felt like I should be doing this.
I agree.
And for the longest, like, I didn't believe in myself just because, people were telling me, oh, nah, that's not going to work for you. Oh, I don't see you doing that. Or you need to do this, you need to do that. But the one day I just really had like a real realization with myself. Like, what if everything like truly works out? Like what if everything goes as planned?
Yeah.
So I just envisioned that, and I'm like, bro, I can really do this. So like, I would say like the number one thing was like pushing myself to, get right here. Like exactly where I am right now. But like, I'm well on my way to, still get to where I'm trying to go. Like, I'm nowhere near where I'm trying to go. But I would say like, it was definitely myself. But the number one thing is really pushing through and like just embracing that you're different. Because like, no matter what, it's always going to be those people that have different opinions of you. Like even some of the closest people to you. And that's just naturally how it goes. But yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I have no nothing. And I hope while you guys are listening, I'm going to clock y'all. When we have guests on or I have other topics, I really encourage you guys to kind of compare and contrast what I'm talking about and hearing other people's experiences. Because I just said this prior. How does it feel to be you?
Yeah.
If he did not have that feeling of how did it feel to be different, unique, know that you're on this path, he would not be here right now cultivating a business, cultivating a community that is empowering people and allowing them to be better. So see value in yourself, see the worth in yourself. Do not allow other people around you to restrict that due to their own limiting beliefs. And many people can't see. I feel like I learned this at a young age in terms of why am I not getting this support, right? And they're small-minded, and it's not a dig. And I know some people can take, oh, you're a sheep or small-minded as a dig, but it's just reality of you cannot think bigger than what you have seen in your own perception.
Yeah.
So, of course, me saying I'm going to do X, Y, and Z, I'm going to be an influencer, a podcaster, have a multi-million-dollar business, be a household name is like, girl, who do you think you are?
Yeah, for sure. And another thing, I ain't mean to cut you off.
No, go ahead,
A lot
please.
of people, they sometimes, well, like specifically me, a lot of people, they made me feel guilty by dreaming big. Like, the dreams I have and the things I want to conquer is just like so out of this world to the point where like people will look at me like, bro, like that is never going to happen for you. Like, why do you think like this? And I've just always seen myself doing way more than anybody thought I was capable of doing, like my whole life. And I give you a good example. I think this is the moment I knew I was different for real. My first job, I worked at Sears. And so when I got to Sears, you know, the people that work with me, my coworkers or whatever, so I used to ask them, and it's probably a little disrespectful looking back on it, but really not. So I used to ask them, like, what's your plan after this? Like, you know, like, what do you see yourself doing? And, you know, a couple of people, oh, yeah, I want to do this, I want to do that. But the majority of the time, the answer was like, oh, yeah, like, this is my job right here. This is, like, my career. This is what I see myself doing. And, like, not to knock anybody, but, like, I just see people, like, doing way more than that. Yep. Like, and that's how I always perceive people. I always perceive people for them being the greatest version of themselves. And, you know, for the longest, like, every person I ever met, every person I ever had a relationship with, like, I hold them accountable to the person they needed to be. And, you know, when they tell me, oh, yeah, I want to do this with my life, I want to do that, like, I'll be like, oh, like, every time we talk, it's like, bro, like, you know, you told me you was going to do this, like, so how's this going? And how's that going? And then a lot of people, you'll be so surprised, man. I lost a lot of relationships like that, surprisingly, because a lot of people really don't
want to be held accountable for
facts,
what
for who they want to be. You get what I'm saying? Because I wish I had, like, people like that in my life. And, like, growing up, I want to say I really didn't have that. Well, enough people like that. Because a lot of people, it was, like, reverse. It was like, dang, like, you're not going to make it. Like, even though you're dreaming like that, I already see you doing that. But from my perspective, it's like, yeah, I can do this, bro. Like, this, you know, even though I can't see the results right now, I know that the results coming. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? So that's just always been me. And that's really how I knew I was different from other people. But I just encourage everybody to, like, if you really believe that you're different, you're different. Don't even look no further, think no further. Like, you just really got to go after that life that you really want. It's out there for you. Like, everybody got a dream. 1,000%. Like, nobody, that's something I don't believe. Like, even the people that's, you know, stuck working 9-to-5 jobs, I feel like, I know for a fact, like, half of them don't even want to be there for it. Like, there's more out there for you. You just got to put yourself in position to really live that life you want. Like, everything is temporary, bro. No matter where you at, you can be, like, so down bad right now, but literally, if you just grind and come up with a plan to change something, bro, your life will change.
And I think a lot of people immediately who aren't ready to receive that message, because that's so powerful, right? You just told people, no matter what your situation is, what you truly want to do, you can do. And facts. I feel like we'll naturally have people say, well,
it's always a rebuttal, man.
I have to work. I can't do this. I have kids. I have responsibilities. Thanks. I have this. And, you know, all of these excuses and kind of put them in a victimizing sense. And like I always say, anytime the word victim is used, we're not talking about any true victims. We're talking about people that are putting themselves in a category and restricting them from doing more because of a certain circumstance.
Yeah, you get me?
We have to understand that circumstances, excuse my language, it's going to be a little bit of a cursing episode, are shit. Situations are shitty, okay?
Yeah, no cap.
There are very shitty situations, right? Yeah. But there are so many people who have gotten out of them.
Yeah, man, yeah.
There's just...
For sure.
I just feel like it gets to a point when now you're being self-deprecating, right? You are allowing this undesirable circumstance to take so much control of your life and put you in this isolated circle, which now you can't do more.
I ain't gonna lie, you spot on right now, man, for real.
You just wired, and we already said prior, words are spells. So now if you are speaking this into your life that, oh, this is that, like, I can't do more, I can't make more, I can't get a raise, I can't get a new job, I can't truly pursue my dream.
Yes, you can.
Of course it's not going to happen, but it's really the shift in perspective. If this wasn't real, we would not have billionaires right now. Point blank, period. Everybody who has money right now is not old money.
Facts.
That's just point blank in the period. And I know people don't like to hear this because they have to take accountability for the way their life is. And people can't do that. But the reality of it is you can work that 9-to-5, stack and save, leave it, and pursue whatever you want to pursue.
Exactly.
You can take an online course. There's and that's why utilizing your resources, and I'm going to clock myself, something that I'm trying to force myself to do more. There's so many resources, especially for underprivileged communities.
Yeah.
I don't want to say there's not an excuse because I don't want to sound insensitive, but you really have to get clear with your goals. That's why it's super imperative to figure out what do you want to do? What is your plan? Like maybe your passion in something you really enjoy, you want to keep that as a hobby. You don't want that to be something you're making money, but maybe there's something you're really interested in that you would like to pursue as a job. Okay, how can we do this?
Thanks.
We need that duality. You need that balance in life so you can enjoy it. So life isn't feeling like so heavy. You feel like you can wake up every day and see that this is a great day for an opportunity. Something dope's going to happen. I'm going to see someone new. I'm going to meet someone new. It's going to be a great opportunity. It's going to be a great day, rather than, oh, it's just another day. I got to go make money. Just got to survive.
Now, you not lying, man. I had to save myself from that too. Like, I remember, not even as a kid, a couple years ago, like, I always knew I wanted to be a content creator. I always knew I wanted to put out content exactly how I'm doing now. But for the longest, I used to tell myself, nah, I can't do it. Like, I'm looking at social media, man. Social media is so deceiving sometimes. I'm looking at people like, dang, I'll never be as big as that person. I'll never have as much money as them. Like, I'll never this, I'll never that. But you just really got to self-reflect, but you got to be confident in who you are.
Yes.
And, for the longest, like I've been saying, like this whole episode, like I had to really remember like who I am. Like I was destined for this.
Yes.
This is exactly what I'm supposed to be doing with my life. And I know that I'm on the right path, and I know that God is not going to lead me wrong. Like if I've been getting this feeling my whole life, there's got to be something out there for me. And if this is the route that I need to take, let me go ahead and take this route. No matter how hard it's going to get, this is the perfect route for me. You get what I'm saying? So like I had to really go into my mind and say, instead of saying like, oh yeah, I can't do this. How can I make this work? Like you just said, like, let me come up with a game plan. Instead of, spending hours like playing video games or, just scrolling just to scroll on Instagram, whether it's TikTok, any type of platform, let me actually come up with a game plan and, draw some things out to see what I can do to put myself in a better situation for my future.
And somebody out there, of course, is going to say, okay, resources. How am I finding these resources? What are these resources? YouTube. When I say YouTube, is going to be probably your first best start.
Right.
You can filter on who you want to deliver the message to you, who you want to even listen to. You can see a little bit more about them through their platform. You can have such a specific thing you're looking for. 9 out of 10 times now, how overly saturated the content creation, not in a negative way, it's just very overly saturated, point blank period. It's a lot of people pursuing this right now, which is great. It's amazing. And that it's great and amazing because now it allows so many people to receive the message in the way they need to receive it. Because I may say something that's not how they need to hear that message, but so they can go find someone else and they're like, perfect.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
I definitely agree.
So utilize YouTube as like very much, I personally think you're starting. I'm going to always advocate for YouTube because we have audiobooks. You have life coaches. You have mindset coaches. You have so many modules for education. YouTube is great.
Facts. I definitely agree, man.
There's so many online courses. There's so much on there. I would truly say if you are so completely lost about where to start with kind of getting a game plan or even like personal development or even career, start on YouTube because then you can go to the internet and download a book. Then you can know where to go. Then you can know who to contact, who to talk to. Because sometimes you don't know where to start.
No, facts, for real.
And I think that's also something, too, that a lot of people dismiss and judge people on. So I do apologize, y'all, if that came off a little harsh. When I get a little passionate talking, it come off a little harsh.
Yeah.
But, some people don't know where to start, right? And sadly, for a lot of people, the start has to happen when they hit rock bottom or they have a life or death experience.
Man. Yeah, I would just think about that, man. Like...
Or if just something very tragic happens. So don't be afraid. If you have that thought now, you feel that potential, you feel like something's your destiny, look into it. It doesn't hurt. Like
Get into it.
Like he was saying with the content in terms of what you're consuming, be cautious of that too.
No, for sure. 1,000%.
Be cautious of that too.
1,000%.
It can really bring you into a hole. For example, me right now. I don't have my personal Instagram. I deactivated my personal Instagram. I want to come back when I'm a certain person, not in a toxic way, but when I've reached a certain goal and I'm like, I'm here, I'm ready to eat.
It's so crazy how much we alike, man.
You're going to deactivate yours too?
No, what's crazy is like I recently came back, from deactivating my page. And like you just hit it on the head of like my experience. So basically, for the longest, like I never wanted to be on social media just to be on social media. Like, I'm one of those people, like, if I'm not producing any type of content or I'm not doing anything productive, I just can't be on social media. And a few years ago, I just got so caught up in just being on social media, just to be on social media. And, when I'm sitting here scrolling, I'm like, dang, man, like, if I really want to produce content, like, why am I just sitting here scrolling for hours and not even attempting to produce the content? So I told myself, let me take a good little break. So I deactivated my page for I want to say a year and a half. And I told myself I'm not getting on social media until I'm ready to produce the content. So at the beginning of this year, the goal was, let me get out here. Just that simple. Let me see what I can do. So I reactivated that social media. And as soon as I did, the content started coming, flooding. And now we here. So, yeah.
And I think I want you guys to understand, how can I word this? We all consume content, right?
Yeah, we all do.
We all no one's sitting here on a high horse in this conversation feeling like, because I deactivated my Instagram, I'm better. No.
Yeah.
But once again, it takes a kind of realization and awareness of what you're consuming and how it's affecting your life. So if you're feeling like you're spending too much time on your phone and you feel like deactivating is too much, maybe limit your phone time. Maybe an hour before bed, you're not on your phone. Maybe journal, maybe read the Bible,
right.
Read a book that you're interested in. Kind of wean yourself off, because I promise you guys, this is real. That's a real thing. Like, the consumption really changes your mind, your perspective.
Real, man. You're not lying.
It makes you feel like you're behind. It makes you feel like you're not doing enough or you're doing too little. It's very hard. Social media is great for so many things, but be mindful of how is it mentally affecting you.
Heavy on the behind too.
Because I think for both of us, I literally reactivated mine for a second yesterday because I had to look up someone's Instagram, and I just knew I wasn't going to find it on my actual Barbie Talks page. And I was just scrolling on Instagram, and I was like, I'm so happy right now that I don't have it, because being in my fitness journey and just my wellness journey, seeing all of these women who are in these places I want to visit, or they look the way I want to look, or it seems like they're doing the things I want to do, or going and seeing someone talk about the same thing I'm talking about and seeing them have more likes, more views. It almost, for a second, I caught it. I was like, whoa, I'm so happy the process that I'm doing right now, which was symmetrical to yours, of getting myself together to be strong enough to look at something. And that's okay. Y'all, it's okay to look at someone and feel a little bit of envy or feel a little jealous. It's fine.
It's
that's
really,
natural.
It's normal, to be honest. Yeah.
It's normal. It's natural. We all want more than what we got right now. Point blank, period. So just having that level of awareness helps you kind of also, trailing back to what we first were talking about, get that path, get that plan, figuring out where you need to go, figuring out what needs to be eliminated from your life in order for you to do this level up. And many people fail to get that far because they're not willing to sacrifice.
Facts.
I have no time, you guys, to even be on my phone. I have no time to even be on my phone, okay? If I still have my Instagram reactivated, I would have found time. And when I deactivated, I realized, whoa, there's so much in this world. Outside is beautiful. Actually having interactions with people is beautiful. Just worrying about me, worrying about my family, or checking in on Facebook and seeing how people are, it's it helps you kind of get out of this fantasy world that Instagram or some social medias will portray due to everyone just showing.
It's true.
They're good stuff.
It's true. 1,000%.
So, as we're talking about Instagram, I think this actually, wow, I didn't even intend for that.
Yeah.
I did not even intend for that. But this is the perfect transition into, also, let me know if you feel this way too when you see this. I'll speak on myself personally. I'm going to give an example. And I'm going to give 2 examples of before and after. And it's going to sound so stupid, but stay with me, y'all. Before, when I would walk somewhere, I would immediately move over for someone, be like, I'm sorry. Now, I walk with my head held high. I walk with stride in my walk, and you can move over for me, or we both can adjust for each other. What am I saying here? Stop making space for everyone else. You are the space. I'm going to say that again. Stop making space for everyone else. You are the space. Stop trying to make people feel comfortable. Stop trying to cater to everyone else. Stop making yourself so malleable for everyone else, and then you're not doing that same thing for yourself. As I grew in this personal development journey, I realized that was something I didn't even kind of peep. That I would make so much space for everyone else, consider everyone else, even if it didn't come off that way, even if people thought I was selfish or whatever, it still was there because I was so afraid of that feeling, that calling, that dream, and kind of being shunned away or people not supporting and judging me.
Yeah.
So I think just really with both of us saying our stories, it has the same baseline, but also too, like, don't make space.
Right.
If you made space for everyone else in their opinion, your dream would have wallowed away. It would be so deep in your subconscious, you'd probably only see it in your dream.
Yeah.
But you didn't allow that. You allowed yourself to have this, no, like, I know.
Yeah.
I just know this is something, and it pushed you to this point.
Right.
Do you have it?
No, I definitely agree with what you said, but I feel like I think that you should make space for the right people.
Yes.
If that makes sense.
Yes.
Like, I feel like a lot of people can relate to this, but I feel like specifically me, like I was showing up for people and I was making space for people that didn't deserve me. If that makes sense. I was showing up for a lot of people that wasn't even willing to show up for me, for real. And what I mean when I say that is a lot of things, but specifically, like when you chasing your dreams and you really trying to be somebody, the support is really not going to be there sometimes. And sometimes really just being a good person in general, can put you in some really messed up situations. Yep. I know there's so many people out there listening to this that you're just a good person, and, you know, when somebody going through something or when somebody needs you, you showing up. Yep. But when them tables is turned, it feel like you the only one taking them L's. Mm-hmm. And, like, for a good portion of my life, I felt like that was me. And, like, when it came to me, like, actually, you know, pursuing to, you know, chase my dreams, I realized I'm like, dang, like, you know, what a support from the people that, you know, I call friends. What a support for the, you know, the people that supposed to be with me for real. Yep. But what I will say, I definitely agree with you. But, like, when you just got to get into it and you just got to create your own lane, because once you create your own lane, the people that is meant to be in your lane, you will attract them along the way. And I feel like, yeah, just like that.
And, you know, with you saying that kind of made me want to reframe what I said. I still stand on what I said. Don't make space for other people, because a lot of people some people need to hear it like that. So then you said it will naturally fall in place, right?
Yeah, you ain't wrong for saying what you said, though.
Some people will just be like, oh, this could be this could be a person no, they will make the space for you. That's how you're gonna know.
Let me say that too, like, before you even get started, man. Like, do not ignore the signs, man. Like, people are gonna show you exactly who they are, whether or not that be a good or bad thing. Whether or not that be a good or bad thing. When people show you who they are the first time, believe them.
Yep.
Actions speak louder than words. It's just as everybody else says. It's true. If you already getting the signs that somebody is a terrible person or y'all just not compatible, please don't ignore them signs. Because I promise you, like, the minute you do, it might put you in a worse situation in the long run. Like, trust me.
Piggyback off that as well. Most situations, most friendships, most relationships, it can be platonic friendship or actual spouse. That's why people end. Facts. Those same red flags be the same reason why it don't work.
Yeah, that's something that always drove me crazy. Like, just... Like, it's so many good people. Like, you ever had a friend? I know you had a friend before that just, you know, was associated with somebody that didn't even deserve them. Mm-hmm. Like, and they just showing up for somebody that not even showing up for them for real. And that's just always been one of my biggest pet peeves. I don't know why. But, like, you got, bro, know your worth. Just start there. Know your worth. Like, if somebody is mistreating you, they're not supporting you, or they're just not giving you, like, the support that you need, like, in whatever aspect, please do not ignore them signs. Like, just know your worth, for real.
And don't adjust your worth, right?
Yo,
don't facts. If you feel like you worth 10 cents, not 10 real cents, but if you worth a 10, don't give into a 9 because this person looks good or they're talking nice, or no, stand on that.
Oh God. Don't ever stoop down.
10 toes. Like, if you guys would, I'm not gonna bring this too much into influencing, but as you guys know, like, I know this realm, I've done research. Do you guys understand how much money these creators are making from negotiation?
Yeah.
If they were just like, oh, 200's my price for just a picture on my page. Oh, this company probably would have given you 1,000 or 500, but you kind of want to wiggle your price down because it's a super big brand and you don't want to lose out on the opportunity.
No, facts.
Look it up, y'all. A lot of big influencers say don't weasel around your price. A lot of big singers don't weasel around your worth.
Right.
These are monumental people saying the same thing.
Right.
And also, think about it. When you get a service, I was just talking about this with my mom. When you get a service and the service come out good and then somebody charge you dirt cheap, you kind of look at them like, you don't know your worth? Like, this was good. But then you got these people paying $1,000, $2,000 for a haircut that he could have went on down to mom and pops and got for $20. Why? Because the worth was there.
Thanks.
And don't be afraid to stand on your worth because you feel like you won't attract people. You will attract the right people who will see your worth and some.
For sure.
Point blank, period.
For sure.
No matter what you feel like your worth is, there's at least, when I say at least 1,000 people, and I probably would even bring it up to 5, that would have no problem with your worth.
Yeah.
And wouldn't even second guess it and would treat it like it's normal.
Yeah, for sure.
So we giving a lot of gems this episode. I know it's a lot.
Yeah, man. Good gems, too.
I know it's a lot, but I hope y'all are still here because we already reached our midway. So I'm actually happy we kind of brought a lot of energy in because we're going to zone it in because I want to get a little serious for this next thing I'm about to present and this next topic that is really dear to both of us. So before we get into it, I want everyone to take 2 breaths in the nose. We're going to hold for 4 and exhale for 3. We're going to do it one more time. In for 2. Hold for 3. Exhale for 4. So, my question, this is a safe space. Make sure if you feel like you need to keep doing that breathing exercise, if you feel like you're not regulated right now, you feel like maybe something we talked about kind of sparked something in you and it triggered you or whatever it may be. And remember, trigger is not a negative word. Some topics will automatically spark your sympathetic nervous system and kind of get you really anxious. So just keep doing those breathing techniques to kind of bring yourself back down. But the question I do have for you guys is, and make sure that you are making a safe space to truly answer this question, are you afraid to be alone? And if you guys are kind of peeping, all of our baseline of what we're saying is relating to walking alone, knowing your potential, knowing your worth. This is all trailing back to you. But if you are afraid to be alone, which is okay, it's okay, that's fine. Everyone has that moment in their life where they're like, I just don't want to be by myself. I want to be with someone. I want company, or I want the support. I want the love. But you have to start with yourself. You have to find that love in yourself. You have to find that companion in yourself, because it's also true. If you don't see your own worth and you're not valuing yourself at that level of worth, how can you expect someone else to show up for you in that way? How can you expect someone else to see your worth in that manner? So if you are feeling like you're afraid to be alone, or you are a little more on like the teeter-totter side, like I can be alone, but I would prefer not to, just analyze why. I definitely recommend shadow work. I'll probably link some prompts in this episode description or make a doc for you guys to see. But I challenge you to do some shadow work and kind of really relate back to your childhood on why you may be afraid to be alone. Because that one, I'm going to be very honest, you have to get past that first.
Right.
You got to get past the fear of being alone, because you got to walk alone. This journey of life, you got to be able to walk alone. And you have to be able to stand in that unconditionally.
I think that at some point in everybody's life, they're going to get to a point where they feel alone. And what I say is, don't get discouraged, because it's going to be a lot of times where you feel like you're alone. It's going to be a few times where you have no idea what you're going through. It's going to be a few times when you have no idea what you want to do in your life. And that's the perfect time where a lot of people feel alone. But specifically me, I feel like being alone isn't such a bad thing. Like in my case, I felt like I was alone my whole life, to be honest with you. And I felt like I was different. And just by me being different, a lot of people made me feel like I was alone, even the people I love the most. Because, I tried to, present, my opportunities, not my opportunities, but my dreams to, certain people, and just feel like I was neglected so many times. But I would say embrace being alone. because the more you embrace being alone, you become like a warrior almost.
Yes.
And like once you get to a point where like you're alone, like for real, like you're going places for sure.
And it's this invisible shield you kind of slowly develop and you don't realize you're developing it.
Yeah.
But other people around you can see that. Like it's not a joke. It's
Yeah.
not a joke. People can feel when you are comfortable being alone. So like
Yeah.
if you're in a relationship, and once again, this could be any relationship, and someone's not showing up for you in the way that you want them to, and you just kind of say, okay, bye, you treated me this way, like that's not what I deserve, but like wish you well.
Yeah.
You know how much harder that's going to hit them than you sending them a long paragraph, F you, I hate you.
Yeah.
That other one is because you know why? It's showing them, I'm okay, I don't need you.
Yeah,
I could stand alone. I can do this alone. And like I said, that goes for any relationship. I'm not just talking about spousal, even with friends, like, hey, you're not showing up for me in the way I need you to, so I wish you well, but we just need space right now. And it makes you, I was going to say it makes other people gain respect for you, but you actually gain respect for yourself.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, man. You got to really embrace being alone. And sometimes being alone can put you in a better situation. More specifically, some people, sometimes you may be in a toxic relationship or just, have an affiliate that really doesn't deserve you. And I feel like the longer like you create like this false narrative or like tie yourself to somebody that doesn't deserve you like in their life or your life, then the longer you're prolonging your success and your story, if that makes sense.
Yes.
So the best thing somebody in that situation could do is choose themselves, which is being alone. And that would create like a whole nother greater version of themselves.
Yes, and there's so many cases of people who are actually, this is going to sound so left field. People are going to be like, girl, how you even say all this?
Yeah.
There's actually not crazy instances. There's many instances when people are in prison, they will intentionally put themselves in solitary confinement and they will read, they will study, because isolation is not punishment. Like obviously in prison, we're not getting into why they're in prison or all that stuff, but I said the example of prison intentionally because that's their own smaller community, and this person still chose to be alone and make themselves better, to read and get comfortable with being with themselves. And honestly, kind of when I'm saying it now, it's kind of worse for them to want to be in isolation because like, okay, what did you do to even get you there? Now you're fighting with those demons and like, damn, I'm even here for this reason. So isolation isn't a punishment. It's really a beautiful way for you to just grow and evolve.
For sure.
And you're also allowed to yes, we judge ourselves.
Right.
That's it. But then you also get to a point when you're in your personal development journey or when you're just so alone, that judgment goes.
Yeah.
It really goes out the window. It's now you're curious. Wow, I just thought of this. How did curiosity immediately turn to judgment? Because most times when you're judging someone, it's because they're being curious or like they did something a little off that they wanted to try something or they did something new. So I feel like also embracing curiosity, embracing, those things you have questions about, embracing those kind of like, I wonder if I should do this, or like, I want to know more about this. That really helps you so much create a safe space when you're by yourself, because now this is a learning environment. Now there's no strings. Now you can just investigate, read something, do a deep dive in something, and just, oh wow, I did this for hours, or it was a whole hour and a half, and like I didn't text my friend, like I didn't even realize.
Yeah.
And it puts you in this headspace where now your brain is being rewired to, okay, this is normal, this is safe, this is comfortable, I can be myself here. If you can't be yourself with yourself, that's where it's going to get hard. That's when the noise of the outside will affect you. That's when the circumstances in front of you won't allow you to get to that point you need to be, because you can't even be relaxed on your own. You can't even be yourself with yourself.
For sure.
With all of that being said, I can't even say takeaways from this episode. I really can't, because we did so many good, so many great gems, but understand, And I've been thinking about this like all weekend. all weekend, because Dylan James says his intro to his videos is, remember, life is not happening to you, it's happening through you. And if you guys remember, I had a previous episode when I asked you, are you going through life or is life going through you? And how his philosophy is about it, I kind of want to shift how I spoke in that episode, because just really understand, like, life is going through you. Like, this is not, you can really cultivate a life that you enjoy. You can be yourself just unconditionally. You can enjoy life. You can be curious. You can explore. You can see and do so many things. Life is for living. Right. Life is for exploring. So live in that. Yeah. Stand in it. Enjoy it. And allow yourself even that safe space within yourself to be able to explore that, to be able to try it. Don't feel like you don't fit a standard to go to a certain place, travel a certain place, be in a certain career, do something. No. Yeah. That was given to you for a reason, sure. And this is what your life path's supposed to be. Sure. This is what you're supposed to do.
1,000%, man. I fell victim to that for sure. Throughout some parts of my life, I used to be that person like, man, why is this happening to me? Like, why am I going through this? This person not going through this.
Same.
Like, why do I deserve this? Like, I'm so good of a person. But, like, whatever you're going through, like, it's really preparing you to become that version of yourself that you never knew.
Yes.
And you just really have to embrace it. Because, like, no matter how down bad you are, it's going to get better. 1,000%. But, like, just waking up with a fixed mindset saying, oh, yeah, why am I going through this? Or everything not going to work out. Like, if you keep telling yourself that, your life is going to stay the exact same way. And I'll be the one to tell you, like, but the minute that you, like, fully embrace, like, all you got to do is say, yeah, it's only temporary. Everything ain't gonna always be like this. And once you get to that point, like, you'll start to grow and grow and grow and grow and grow. And the more you grow, the more you go and get on that way to wherever you're trying to go. For real.
And oh my God, it's so crazy you said that, because you guys know, I'm not sure if I'm posting that I did a podcast episode before this, and I filmed it outside, and I filmed it, and, like, it was kind of I was clocking everybody, telling them to know your worth, etc. But throughout that time, I've been really pushing the personal development, mindset coaching content into me, because I felt like I fell off. And this is also not something that stops. I feel like you can attest to this too. Every day you are still learning. You need to
for sure
hear new people, read new things, think about new concepts. You guys literally just heard me shift a perspective I had from this. And one of the women that I'm listening to, she's called the Universal Guru, Mina. She said when she goes through a problem similar to kind of what you said when you said it's temporary, she'll say, thank you so much for letting me know this method doesn't work for me. Thank you, God. Thank you, universe. Sure. And shifting your mind into that, it doesn't seem like, oh, why is this happening to me? It's like, okay, this don't work. This place not for me. This isn't for me. Thank you. Thank you for letting me know now.
It's true. Matter of fact, you know who Mel Robbins is?
No.
It's this lady, and I don't know why this has stuck with me, like, for the longest. She had made, like, a video because she's a podcaster, author. You know, she's overall a great person. She's very inspiring too. But she said that, like, every time, like, she get to a point where, like, life is just so bad and she thinking about throwing in the towel, she just sit here and say, you know, this is exactly where everybody else gives up. This is exactly what I'm supposed to be in my life. This is exactly what I need to go through. And this is exactly what's going to help me get to where I'm trying to go. Yes. And I've said that in so many of my episodes, and a lot of people don't even know that come from her. But, like, it's really true. Like, you just really have to look at the positives of things. Like, no matter how bad or no matter how bad things you're going through, like, it's going to be good. But you just got to shift the mentality towards a good thing, for sure.
Yes. We're gonna leave on that amazing note.
For sure.
So I will steal Dylan's tagline for this episode. Remember, life is not happening to you, it is happening through you. You are amazing, you are worthy, you are beautiful, you are handsome, you are everything under the sun. You can do what you want to do because it was put into your head, and I'm going to let you give everybody the details of where to find you, things that you're doing, a little more about your content, whatever you want to say.
Y'all can find me at 129forever on Instagram, also TikTok. Y'all can find me on 129forever on YouTube as well. Y'all can find me on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. But I do want to say this before I head out, man. I want to thank you for bringing me onto this platform for real. I don't even know this girl has been like magnificent ever since I met you. You're one of the most genuine person I ever met in my life, and I'm very thankful that I came across you. Because, like you said, like before, like I met you, I was wondering like, where are the like-minded people? Like, where are the people like me? But like, you are totally different, and you're putting a good message into the world, and a lot of people really need somebody like you. For real, like, don't you ever stop. For real. Because if you do stop, I'm going to come find you, and I'm going to make you keep going. Like, I promise you, like, you are well on your way to a promising future. Like, no matter what you choose to do, I know for sure you will shine in whatever path that you choose to take. 1,000%.
Thank you so much, Kiwi. Oh, my God.
Yeah, man.
I won't get emotional, but
for real.
I guess, how does it feel to be me? How does it feel to be you? How does it feel to be all of us? Thank you all for tuning in. I hope you enjoy this episode as much as I enjoyed it. Of course, you can follow me on Instagram at The Brown Barbie when I reactivate. But, of course, I am on Barbie Podcast. So if you guys want to talk to me, contact me through there. We got the email. You got some questions you want me to talk about. We talk about them there. Of course, if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, follow this channel. If you are listening on YouTube, hit the subscribe button, and thank you guys so much for listening, and bye.